Let's go to a place where everything is made of blocks, where the only limit is your imagination. Let's go wherever you want to go. Climb the tallest mountains. Venture down to the darkest caves. Build anything you want. Day or night, rain or shine. No one can tell you what you can or cannot do. With no rules to follow. This adventure, it's up to you.
Why do we always come back here? Not to this dirt hut, but Minecraft. Strange thought, I know. I mean, why does anyone return to any game they like? Because it's fun, nostalgia, your crippling cheese addiction, Jerry. Any one of these besides Jerry can be a valid reason. I have played through countless games throughout my life, many of which I would consider have helped shape me into who I am today. I mean, hell, look into my room for 2 seconds and you can instantly learn everything about me. Yet through all of these different experiences I've played through, Minecraft has always been different. No matter what I play, how old I get, how my tastes change, I'm still playing Minecraft. Kinda. Howdy, name's Red. For those who already know who I am, I know it's been a little while since my last video. A longer while. I've been bouncing between different video ideas and scripts for the past couple months now. I literally recorded an entire Wii Sports Resort video with footage and everything, and it ended up being a lot longer than I thought it was, and I was worried it wouldn't be as funny, so I shelved it. I'll most likely head back to it at some point since I already put a lot of work into it, though a friend of mine told me I need to research more about the sunk cost fallacy first. I don't remember that being a sport. Anyway, I wanted to cover something a little smaller this time, so that way I can kind of get my groove back after working on comic stuff for the past while, and my extreme obsession with nothing but Baldur's Gate. And recently, a friend of mine got the random urge yet again to play Minecraft that got us all started up again. Though I quickly shut it down with the realism that we were definitely just going to play for like a week and then abandon the server. It's not that I didn't want to play, it's more like I've literally seen this cycle happen before. And for some reason that made me notice about the sort of pattern we usually get. Almost a depressive cycle. You don't understand. I have played this damn game for over half of my life. It has literally been my go-to happy place anytime I need something to do. It can cure boredom, create friendships, even satisfy my violent thoughts. I used to play it all the time. It was my go-to comfort game. Used to. See, something I noticed over the years is that I've been slowly losing the interest more and more over the years to play, which is just a little depressing. But see, it would be different if I just realized that perhaps I've just grown out of the game, and maybe it's just best to leave well enough alone and keep those memories I had. No, you see the problem here is that I keep having these random urges to pick up Minecraft again. I'll pick it up, make a server, play with some friends for like 2-ish weeks before we all experience some extreme burnout, and then put down the game again for another couple months. Rinse and repeat. This has been happening for a while now, like a continuous cycle of burnout. Me and my friends have started up countless servers or realms together and had fun for a good couple weeks or so, and then just start to slowly lose the interest more and more before we just eventually abandon it. There are literally giant projects I worked on for days that I ended up abandoning due to either the grand scope or just lack of time or effort. And I know it's not just me. All of my friends have experienced what we have dubbed the 2-week Minecraft binge, and it's been a pretty common occurrence for us at this point. I only really started questioning it because that friend of mine got the urge to play recently, and even jokingly brought up the 2-week binge. So, you know, as someone with absolutely no bitches, I was curious and wanted to see if anyone else was experiencing the same sort of binge we've been having. There are literally entire articles dedicated to this. So why do we get this urge to play Minecraft in the first place, then never seem to commit to a world for longer than a couple weeks? I mean, I very clearly love the game. I've been playing it since I was 9. I'm 22! So despite this occurrence of having most definitely a million answers online from more competent people, I still wanted to throw in my own 2 cents because... So, why do we feel the urge to return in the first place? I think it's due to a multitude of factors. Maybe you want to play because a friend was talking about it, or maybe a Let's Player you watched started playing it recently. Could also be that you enjoy the simplicity of it and you want to play something chill again. All of these are valid, as well as wrong. I'd argue that the greatest pullback to the game is, to put it simply, nostalgia. Minecraft's over 14 years old going off the official release date, and the kids that used to play it religiously are feeling nostalgic. Now, is that a bad thing? Not really. We just like a moment to return to a bit of calmness or normalcy. Maybe it's an escape, a sort of small glimmer back into a time where life was simpler and it muffled the sound of your parents wrestling. Or you just simply liked funny cube game. All work. For me personally, it's always been a mixture of a creative outlet for myself as well as a nice step back into a game I know I'll enjoy. It's almost like a comfort food. If I feel bored or don't know what to play, hey, there's Minecraft. Sure, it could start out from a place of nostalgia, but that nostalgia is not completely blinding. There's a reason I played it as much as I have, and why I still get the urge to pick it up again. We all have our own motivations to get back into Minecraft, and even if that motivation is more stemmed from nostalgia, that's not necessarily a bad thing. But see, what I find more strange is why we all seem to lose that motivation so much quicker nowadays. For any game, this could be for a multitude of reasons. Could be that the game itself has gotten too stale. Maybe you fell behind the mold and don't really have the energy to catch up. Or the actual reason. Burnout is not a possibility, it's an eventuality. No matter how much you love a game or how many countless hours you pour into League of Legends, you freak, you will inevitably experience some form of burnout from it. The only real difference is how long that burnout could be prolonged. If you're like me and you've been playing the game almost since launch, you've been playing this game for 13 to 14 years. However, Minecraft has been able to prolong burnout much more than any other game I've played. It's not like playing through a Halo campaign and feeling like I need a cigarette afterwards. There is generally always something different you can do that helps to keep the game interesting. Like Baldur's Gate, for example, because I have a crippling addiction. I feel what made me have almost limitless fun playing it was due to the great amount of different ways you could play the game. You could make an evil sorcerer, a bear that cosplays into a dragonborn, Selena Gomez. The possibilities are endless. And the game accommodates for each of these routes with the choices you make, making you feel like you're experiencing something new every playthrough. Critical choices like saying thank you or siding with racism. This sort of feeling of limitless possibilities helps make a game feel refreshing despite playing the same exact game over and over again. But despite how long a game can prolong it, burnout still happens. So, is that it? Is the reason we all don't want to play Minecraft as much just that we're all collectively experiencing some form of prolonged burnout? Yes. And also no. Ugh, I'm gonna get bitch smacked. I do think that burnout is a large factor, but I don't think it's the reason behind our lack of motivation. It's like asking if you're the reason your parents got a divorce. No, you weren't the main reason. So what is it then? Why don't I want to play this game as much anymore? Why did I used to play it so much more as a kid? Because you're not a kid anymore. Now, before you ask, no, I'm not trying to make some statement that Minecraft is only for kids, or we just simply grew out of it or some bullshit like that. But what I am saying is that yeah, we used to play this game way more as kids, because as kids, it just felt like we had more infinite time to play. Time was never really a factor, and because of that, how we spent that time wasn't really an issue either. I mean, I remember spending countless hours playing Finding Nemo on the GameCube and hating every second of it. I still played it though. But as adults, we have these horrendous things called responsibilities. Whether that be from college, jobs, or hell, even being a parent. And it makes the free time we do have a little bit more sacred. We want to spend that time more effectively and with reason. And because of that, I think it's a lot harder to stick to something like Minecraft for a longer period, especially if you don't have a preconceived goal of some kind already. When it feels like you're not working towards anything, or we're just aimlessly wandering around, our brains lose interest and we soon follow. Now, am I stating that the game itself is just boring then? First off, can you stop making random assumptions? And second, no, I'm not. I'm more so stating that Minecraft itself is exactly how it was marketed back in 2010. The only limit is your imagination. Your sick imagination. Let's be honest, the game gives you the most basic form of an adventure possible, but that draw isn't from the game itself, but from how the players themselves map it. So, moving on to that topic then. Is it the game or the player? More specifically, is that lack of motivation a fault of Minecraft itself or a fault of the player? Yes. I've asked multiple friends about this exact question, and almost all of them agreed it was a bit of a mixed answer. A common one I've been given about how people stay invested in a game at all is usually by having some form of goal in mind you're working towards. For some games, this could be as simple as the main plot, or for multiplayer games, it could be pretending you're good at aiming. No matter what you play, you always have some form of preconceived goal, even if you don't enter the game with that mindset. Minecraft, though, is a sandbox game foremost. It's not really meant to have some form of main objective. The goal, per se, is more so determined by the players themselves. The game just gives you the tools and freedom to figure that out. Whether that be making a small farm, building a house, breeding your 95th generation of inbred cows, exploring the vast overworld, creating a massive village or trading dungeon, befriending a dog, just straight up arson. Minecraft offers you the ability to do just about anything you want. There are no rules to follow. Anything you do is solely up to you, and that freedom of choice can be taxing. I know I've played countless times where just figuring out what I want to do burns me out. I've played with friends on server to server, usually building some grandish house or building that I spent hours on, only to end up losing the interest to continue after finishing it. If I don't have any form of thing to be working towards, my interest for the game quickly dies, and rebuilding that interest ends up being way more taxing than I'd like. And I'm sure many of you feel the exact same. Pretty sure. So yeah, I do feel players themselves are at fault for this loss of motivation. But with that being said, Mojang is absolutely not helping. Yeah, no, Mojang deserves a little bit of the blame here. They may not be the main factor, but I am still inclined to blame my problems on them because I can't afford therapy. Back in 2020, I remember YouTubers were flocking to it during lockdown and got hooked since a good some of them have been away from the game for years at that point.
I can milk them. I can milk you.
I know I've been sucked back into Minecraft several times thanks to updates, and I'd play it religiously for like months. It was always a sort of tried and true tactic to re-hype up the game again. It could even bring in more new players that had never experienced it before. But God, the latter updates lately have just been more and more sparse. Not saying they all have been. I mean, 1.14 was a great addition that introduced villager overhauls, along with introducing the pillagers alongside them. 1.16's Nether update was absolutely needed, that basically turned the Nether into its own proper world with its own biomes and fauna. Shit, what else was there? Bees! Unlike the updates that came before that always felt sort of major to the game, for better or for worse, the newer updates have been rather mixed, with some actually being hugely requested improvements and overhauls, and others being Caves and Cliffs was in all honesty the last major draw to the game in my opinion in terms of updates, and I'm more so talking about the second part. Yeah, they split arguably the most requested update for the game into two parts. Part 1 with all the other stuff like candles, glow squids, goats, and then part 2 that people actually cared about. I understand updates take a while. I mean, as much as it may seem simple to add a single thing to a game, usually that just brings a plethora of extra bugs with it, but at the same time, I think we can all agree that Minecraft's updates have just been so underwhelming lately. The issue with the updates themselves is that despite having a couple of new mobs or blocks here and there, they don't add anything new or exciting as much to entice players like they used to. On one hand, we get grand updates introducing new biomes and materials, practically making the entire world feel mysterious and full of life again. Trails and Tales added the Sniffer. Overall, though a great sum of the interest is meant to come from the players themselves and how they play, Mojang, despite their whole purpose with updates is to re-entice interest in their game, have just not been doing that with progressively more uninteresting additions that add nothing to the overall game. Like, it is cool when we get some new structures sometimes, if I can find them, but thank God I can find like 10 different ocean monuments like I'm looking for McDonald's. So, through this whole video solely dedicated to pointing fingers, is there any way to get past the infamous 2-week binge? For the most part, yes. The best advice I could give to keep yourself motivated would be to give yourself a clear goal up front and build upon that over time. Start out small with like a starter home or making a small farm and such, but you can introduce long-term goals over time, such as a big building project or more of a personal stride of some kind, like Take a look at this beautiful dense forest, for example. Pretty, right? But it's just a bit too basic. But don't worry, you can make it better. Setting up a proper goal for yourself helps make you feel like you're properly working towards something, and thus help you stay more invested in seeing it through. Like, just make sure you don't start out with some massive building project like I keep doing. Or as well, you can even try different things, like if you're more of a builder type player, maybe dabble in redstone for a change. If you're a fighter, maybe try becoming a farmer instead. That's what this guy did, and he's happy. There are plenty of ways to change up the way you approach the game, and help it feel a bit more refreshing in a sense. Also mods. If you're sick of waiting months, if not years, for a brand new update that adds an armadillo, then mods are for you. Minecraft mods have been kind of the best way to spark interest back in the game for me, since there are, you know, almost thousands of different mods. And nowadays it's easier than ever to get into the modding scene. You can literally just download a pre-made mod pack with all the hard work already done and installed for you. All you gotta worry about is about how fast your computer will explode. Mods for me personally have been a really great way for me and my friends to get back into the game, since there's actually more stuff to do. Here are just a couple of my personal favorites. Cisco's Fantasy Medieval RPG, I know that's a mouthful. As the name suggests, it just turns Minecraft into a giant RPG with a shit ton of new enemies and bosses for you to fight. It's pretty fun, highly recommend. Better Minecraft, that's basically just sort of an extreme vanilla plus that adds to overhauled world generation, new dungeons, structures, new bosses, plethora of quality of life features. It goes on. It's also, I believe, one of the most popular mod packs in general, so that's pretty neat. And finally, there's one that's just a bit on the tamer side, Minecraft Remade and Remastered, the one I'm actually using for footage in this video. It's basically just vanilla Minecraft with a rather large visual overhaul with some great quality of life features. It's not really anything different gameplay-wise, but it is just a neat way to re-experience the game. I'm also a basic bitch. Although, if I must be honest in front of this court of law, despite all of the methods I've listed, I've really only been able to prolong the binge by like a couple weeks or so. I have been playing the game more, but I still keep getting the more random bursts. They're just a tad longer than usual. So I guess that's it then. Well, my experiences differ from yours. These methods I've listed, I'm sure will help you play the game for much longer, but they aren't a surefire solution. But if I've learned anything from all of this, and from the many questions I've pestered my friends about, I've come to realize that the binge is not really all as bad as people make it out to be. Sure, it sucks that we don't feel like playing much of our favorite game anymore, but things change. Not everything stays how it is forever. But that's not a bad thing. The very fact that even after almost 14 years of playing, over half of my life has been dedicated to this singular game, and I'm still eager every so often to jump back in and try something new, is a testament to how much I care about this singular cube game. Even if we don't have the urge to play it as much as we used to, it's clear that the love and memories of this game will never leave us. And honestly, I feel content that once every so often, I get the feeling of wanting to jump back into a world I know, and with friends I can share it with. A lot has happened to me in the last 14 years. I grew up, graduated high school, got my first crush on a guy, questioned my sexuality, had an early life crisis, turns out I was gay, just realized it's unrelated. I got into digital art, made a comic, even a YouTube channel. And through all of that, this one game has still been on my mind every step of the way. It will always have a special place in my heart, even if I don't play it as much as I did back then. I'd actually like to bring up a statement my friend Lily texted me when I was getting opinions and research for this video, and I wholeheartedly feel they put this emotion into words better than I could have. When it comes to Minecraft, it holds a special place in my heart. It is absolutely something where I would just have the urge to boot up a new world, make a house, and make plans to defeat the Ender Dragon, only to not touch the game for another 4+ months. Though the story is simple on the surface, it's enough to keep me intrigued, enough for me to go back and think, that was fun, and I want to do that again sometime. It's like having a favorite ice cream parlor. You find it at first, and you're getting ice cream every day, but then you forget one day, or you want something else. You forget about it and go about your business, until out of the blue, you remember that first ice cream cone you had, and you start all over. In regards to your topic, I wouldn't say it's people's inability to make a clear goal. The goal in Minecraft is to explore, create, survive. Most people accomplish this rather quickly. It's not like in other video games where if you don't beat the boss, it won't progress the story or lose you entirely. It's a sandbox. I can do whatever I want and avoid all the bosses if I truly wanted to. all in all, I absolutely do what you describe, but it's out of nostalgia, out of the idea that there are no good games to play, but hey, this one's yet to fail me, and I play it till I feel satisfied. Rinse and repeat. No matter what happens, how your life changes, how you grow, how the world almost seems to shift around, Minecraft at its core remains exactly where it was. And though you may not play it as much as you did back then, you'll always be left with a longing to return to a sense of normalcy, when life seemed simpler, when the world just made sense. It's right there where you left it, waiting for you. All it takes is just a little push.